Hi, this is Josh with Resort TV 1. Today we are taking you on a 360-degree ride in 4K on the Kilimanjaro Safaris at Disney's Animal Kingdom. We hope you enjoy the video. So here we go through the queue. And if this is your first time watching a video in 360, make sure you swipe all around the screen so that you can look at all the different angles, or you can point your device. This is best viewed on a computer or a smartphone or a tablet, so you can see all the angles. Some smart TVs don't show all the angles, so check it out on one of those devices so you can look all around and it doesn't look quite so distorted.
Hop out. Hop out, buddy. It's time to get out. We gotta park the car.
Here we go over the bridge where the safari trucks go.
Threatening the very existence of our great creatures.
It's pretty busy today. Glad I got a fast pass.
Even the borders of the land cannot protect our animals from the most dangerous threat of all, poaching. For the poachers, these beautiful animals represent good profit. Rhino and elephant.
As I say here in Harambe, Twin Day, which means let's go. So, Jumbo, everybody, my name's Mandy. I'm going to be a safari truck driver here at the Harambe Wildlife Reserve this morning. First things first, how many of you lovely folks have been on a safari before? Show of hands. Wow, that's a lot. And those of you that didn't raise your hands either chose not to participate or you're new, so welcome either way. But welcome back to those of you that joined us again. As you may know, or if not, this is a photo safari, so make sure you have your cameras or cell phones ready to take some photos. Make sure it's on action or sport mode, because I cannot stop for every single animal on the reserve. Also, they're live wild animals and have no idea what posing for photography means, so they're going to walk away from the truck. So if you want a nice photo, action or sport mode. If you have any personal belongings, make sure you put them down by your feet. It does get fairly bumpy out here. Anything dropped out of the vehicle, I am not able to stop and retrieve, so please keep that in mind. And as for yourselves, remain fully seated. Keep all hands, arms, legs, and feet inside the vehicle at all times, and watch your children. Now, the first part of your safari is going to take place here in the little Ituri Forest. A lot of the animals that make their home here in the forest have excellent camouflage patterns. So what that means is they have actually adapted so you can't see them. But I'll do my absolute very best to try to point them out for you guys. The first one I'm going to see is going to be straight up ahead on that right-hand side. This is going to, it's a female greater kudu. There's a couple of them off to the left of her as well. They're a tall, lanky forest antelope. These are females because they do not have any horns. It's only the males of their species that actually develop and grow horns. Male greater kudu horns are the longest of any antelope in all of Africa. It's going to be about on average 6 feet long. Now, over by the watering hole is a very rare sight, and I'm not trying to over-exaggerate that by any means, especially for these animals. They're black rhinoceros. Seeing one is rare, seeing two is far more special, because this animal is extremely endangered. There's only 5,000 of them left in the entire world today, including these two, and that is it. Sadly, in 2018, this animal is still poached for the horns that it develops. But the saddest fact of all, actually, in my opinion, is what the horns are made out of. Keratin. Because our hair and fingernails are made up of the exact same substance. And when ours gets too long, we get rid of it. So why are we poaching an animal to extinction for something we develop on our own bodies? Now, over on the top of this right side, we're going to see bongos. Now, bongos are known as the ghost of the forest, because if they're not settling down from breakfast, you're probably not going to be able to find the animal. They're very shy, reclusive creatures, despite that bright chestnut coat that they do have. In contrast to the green foliage around them, they are excellent camouflagers. Now we're going to leave the little Ituri Forest and we're going to head into the Safi River. The Safi River is home to Africa's most dangerous animal. Now, aside from the human, does anybody know what that animal is?
Hippo.
That's right. It's going to be the hippo. Now the reason why is the hippos, because the animal is fairly large, about 3,000 to 4,000 pounds, as a fully grown, mature adult hippopotamus. But they're very territorial, so actually if they're ever provoked, they get highly aggressive. So good thing for us, they're nocturnal, so during the day they're sleepy. So you're going to see them over on this right side. Just remain seated. If you can't see these two, don't worry, you might be able to see some more on the other side here. But they can sleep underneath the water even. Now the cool thing about hippos is they stay underneath the water for about 8 minutes at a given time before they need to come up for air. Now when they're sleeping underneath the water, they will rise up to the surface instinctually when it's time to breathe and then right back down without even waking themselves up, so they actually get a full day's rest. Now we do have a baby hippo over on that left side. Mom's going to be all the way over onto the far left, away from the bloat. That's what a group of hippos are called. It's a newest addition here to the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Baby hippos are born at about 50 to 150 pounds. And then they will nurse for 8 months after they're born. Now the cool thing about baby hippos is they nurse underneath the water. So they will spend a good majority of those first 8 months underneath the water, nursing, getting all the nutrition that they need to grow into a large hippo, as you're going to see over on that left side. Now I'm going to go super slow and steady over this bridge because underneath of it is the home of Nile Crocodile. Nile crocodile are the largest of the crocodilian species. They are 18 to 20 feet long. They're about as long as a giraffe is actually tall. They can live to be 50 years old, and they can stay underneath the water for 2 whole hours before they need to come up and take a breath of air, which is extremely impressive. But that's enough of the Safi River for one day. We're going to leave that ecosystem, head into a completely different terrain altogether, and get a little bit closer to that savanna. Before we enter the savanna, we are going to see a very odd looking tree over on the right hand side. This is called the Bale Bob Tree. Now the Bale Bob Tree is known as the upside down tree just because its branches look an awful lot like roots. That's because that tree is actually leafless 9 months out of the entire year. Now while it's dormant those 9 months, it does store all the water it needs to survive inside its trunk, which is actually very beneficial to the tree and other animals on the savanna during times of drought. African elephants have been known to pierce the trunk of the tree with their tusks in order to drink water from it when they can't find any water at the surface. Now this is the Savannah Overlook. The Savannah is home to some pretty famous animals. It is going to be home to giraffes, elephants, and lions. But it's also home to some animals that you're probably not too familiar with. So I'm hoping we'll be able to see those animals today as well. Now I see a very, very small one all the way past these fallen trees over here, all the way down that sand path. These are look like baby antelope, but these are springbok. Springbok are maybe about 3 feet tall, but they can jump vertically into the air 9 feet. If they're going in any direction, it can be increased to about 13 feet. When they're constantly jumping across the savanna, it looks like a pogo stick, and that jumping action is called pronking. Now we are going to have giraffes on the reserve. Does anybody know how many species of giraffe there are in the world? 2. Nope. It is a single digit though. 9. There's 9 different species of giraffe. There's 4 dominant species, 5 subspecies. So technically speaking, in total, there are 9 separate species of giraffe. So the difference in species of giraffe is going to be based on where you can find them in Africa. They are not all from the exact same part of the continent. The netting pattern on their body, it's not all the same either. And the average height of a giraffe is about 18 to 20 feet, but depending on species, let's give or take a couple centimeters. Now over on the left, we're going to see some African wild dogs, painted dogs, or spotted dogs. They have many different name variations, however, hyena is not one of them. These dogs are not hyenas, and hyenas are not dogs. They're not a part of the canine family. They're part of a family all to themselves called Hyenidae. But these dogs over in that back corner are canines, and they're the most dangerous hunter on the entire savannah. They have a better hunting record than lions. It's a 90% success rate. Now over on the left, we're going to see Sable Antelopes. Not quite there. Never really realized a giraffe needed a couple extra inches, did you? You almost had it. So close. But Sable Antelopes are the official emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. The darker color hide of sable has the darker brown, which just means that that's the most dominant sable in the entire herd. Now we're going to pass through a tower of giraffes. That's what a group of giraffes are referred to as, a tower. A lot of group names of animals are actually given because of a characteristic that the animal displays. Giraffes are tall, they tower over everything, they're going to be called a tower. Now they're born very tall, being the tallest land animal. They're born about 6 feet tall, and they get to be about 18 to 20 feet, as I just said. Now my favorite fact about the giraffe is despite its size, the animal only needs 30 minutes of sleep a day. They usually sleep standing straight up. Now, as a very young age, we all learned that giraffes are the tallest animal, and they have the longest neck of any animal. Does anybody know how many vertebrae are in the neck of a giraffe? 7, that's right. Now, what other animal has 7 vertebrae in their neck? We do, that's right. So it does go to show, regardless that they have a yard in neck length on us, you have the exact same number of vertebrae as a giraffe. Now, up ahead, resting on this hill, on to the right side, we're going to see some white bearded wildebeest. Wildebeest is their Afrikaans name. It just translates into wild beast, but they're also referred to in European countries as gnus, just from the sound the animal actually makes. Of course, it's going to be spelled G-N-U. That G is silent, but the cow goes moo, wildebeest go gnu. Up ahead, this rock formation is known as Monkey Point. Monkey Point is the territory where we can normally find mandrill monkeys and African elephants. So hopefully keep your eyes peeled. Now we are going to see a male African bull elephant over on the right side. And hopefully we'll be able to see some mandrill monkeys. We're going to see a male mandrill monkey as well over on the left side. He's going to be sitting on the rock here grooming another monkey. Now mandrill monkeys are the largest monkey of the monkey species. They have brightly colored faces and bottoms, and when an animal gets more excited, the color markings on their body get even more vibrant, the primary red, yellow, and blue. Now the difference actually between an ape and a monkey is what?
Monkeys have tails.
Exactly, monkeys have tails, apes do not. Now mandrills have a very small stump of a tail, but it still qualifies that animal to be a monkey. Since that roadway is closed, I'm going to have to go straight. Try to find this alternate detour here, so hold on one second. Well, the truck didn't seem to have an issue in front of us, so I don't see why we would have any difficulty either. Alright. Now this detour does look as if it takes us into a red clay pit. It was actually pretty good. Elephants love red clay. It does provide them with a bunch of vitamins and nutrients they just don't normally get in their diet. And I'm hoping we'll be able to find a herd of elephants. So what gender is in charge in the elephant community?
Female.
Say that again? Females, that's right. So a herd is made up of primarily all adult females. It's ran on a matriarchy. The eldest female is going to be the one in charge. So a herd of elephants are made up of great-grandmas, grandmas, great-aunts, aunts, moms, sisters, cousins, nieces, maybe some nephews or baby brothers, depending on the maturity level of the male elephant, because male elephants are actually pushed out of the herd around the age of 13 to 14 years. And they'll live the rest of their existing life alone, only going back to other herds throughout their lifetime in order to mate. Now, since elephants are a migrating animal, they already travel very long distances throughout their entire life, many migration patterns. And so the male elephant, in order to follow those herds, will travel those distances as well. Now, a lot of people get confused when they see African elephants because they think that a characteristic of it being a male is ivory tusks. It's not true, but I think it probably stems from Indian elephants. Male Indian elephants are the only ones that develop those ivory tusks. The females do not. But with African elephants, they all get those because those are teeth. So it does put into a slightly larger perspective how big of an issue poaching actually is. Unfortunately, around the turn of the century, we had about 1 million African elephants on the planet, and that sounds wonderful. But unfortunately, now you can round that number down to about 100,000. So unfortunately the animal is an endangered species. And right now in Africa, we are mining for a mineral called coltan. Does anyone know what we use coltan for? Yeah, cell phone batteries. So unfortunately, we upgrade to cell phones like crazy, and technology and connecting with people is great and all, but we also have to take into consideration other species of animals that it may affect. So reduce, reuse, recycle is super easy, it's a cost-effective way. We upgrade to cell phones, no problem. So if you're not using it, lose it. Recycle that cell phone battery until we can find an alternate source of power in order to connect with those around us. Now over on the left, we are going to be able to see a flamboyance of flamingos. That's what a group of flamingos are called, a flamboyance. Now these are greater flamingo, but these are about as brightly colored pink as they're actually going to get. All flamingo get the pink coloration from the beta carotene and the brine shrimp diet that they have. Now the darkness in that pink is just dependent upon which species of flamingo you are looking at. Some genetically just get a little bit darker than others, depending on species. Now it looks as if the warden's taken tusks and horns away from poachers, which is a great thing. Just because an animal is on the reserve, sadly, does not mean they're completely protected away from poaching. As hard as we may try, it does not deter the poachers from pursuing an animal. But that's when everyone on the truck can come in to help. Disney's Animal Kingdom opened in 1998, and ever since then we have been focused completely around conservation. You can go into any Disney merchandise location here and ask to donate to Disney's Wildlife Conservation Fund, and I really hope that you choose to. Regardless of the amount of your donation, you always will receive a souvenir button in return, but you're also going to get the greater souvenir, which is helping animals like the white rhino out. Now, it's going to be a southern white rhino specifically. They're the largest of the rhinoceros species. They're going to be right over here on the right side. They are 5,000 pounds apiece. They have about 2 to 1,000 pounds on the black rhinoceros. They get to about 20 to 30 miles an hour, which is really impressive considering the animal cannot see very well. It's a very poor sense of eyesight, but a wonderful sense of smell and even better sense of hearing. The animal's ears can be used independently from each other in a similar context to chameleon eyes. That way they can hone in on sounds coming in front or behind it at the exact same time, even if they're completely different pitches. Hopefully on the left we'll be able to see some cheetahs. Cheetahs are the fastest land animal. They get up to about 60 miles an hour in just 3 seconds. Now, just because a cheetah's fast doesn't mean that they're distance runners. They're only sprinters, so if the prey that they are chasing has a higher endurance level than the cheetah, could possibly survive just as long as it didn't sustain any injuries during that chase. Now, a lot of folks do think that cheetahs, because they are fast, are constantly zipping around this van in order to find their next meal. Not really. That actually does exhaust the animal pretty well. So they will pursue an animal maybe once a day. If they are successful in that hunt or that chase, they'll fill up as much as physically possible. Will digest for a very, very long time, much longer than us. And then until they absolutely feel the need to eat again, then they're going to chase again. But they're not constantly just running around like crazy. Up ahead, though, is a kopje. A kopje is just a name of a rock formation found in Africa. It's usually home to another famous African cat, the lion. Now, lions are nocturnal, so I'm hoping we'll be able to find them even if they are sleeping. They are inactive about 19 to 20 hours out of the day. It does not necessarily mean they're sleeping that long, but they are lounging around the same behavioral patterns or tendencies as other large cats and domestic pets like to do from time to time. But straight ahead, we're going to see 3 more white rhinoceros. So instead of the 2 we just saw, there's 3, so that's 5. So that's 25,000 pounds of white rhino here on the reserve. And the name of a white rhino actually isn't white at all. The correct name and pronunciation of the animal is white rhino with a V. It's Afrikaans for wide in reference to how wide that animal's mouth is compared to black rhinoceros. Just slowly over time in translation it turned into white. And sadly the incorrect name stuck. Now we're going to have those zebras on the right side as well. Now zebras and lions have a very odd relationship because one is predator, one is prey. But the prey always does not get successfully pursued. If the female lion is a little too close for comfort for that zebra, actually one back kick of that hind leg will shatter on contact her jaw or her skull, whichever one it hits first. We're going to see that female though over on that left side. 2 females actually. And the male, there he is. You're going to see that little tuft of hair there. Now I kind of gave it away, but what's the responsibility of the female? The hunter, yeah. So then what's the responsibility of the male lion? He actually is a stay-at-home dad. He raises the cubs to be a responsible, productive adult lion. Now over on the left we are going to be able to see some warthogs and warthog piglets. Now warthogs are pretty diligent workers. They make those burrows with their hooves and their tusks, but also their snout. Their snout is very flat, similar to a shovel. They use it the exact same way to move rock, debris, and even other ostriches out of the way. Now I say ostriches because you're going to be able to see a female over here on the left sand bathing. Now a lot of people think that when they are scared they stick their head in the sand. They do not. They bathe in it like she's demonstrating, but they'll just run away. The bird actually gets up to about 50 miles an hour. And another fact about that cheetah is that when they are scared, or not the cheetah, the zebra, excuse me. A lot of people think that the zebra is going to be white with black stripes. That's not really true at all. The zebra is actually a black horse with white stripes. Some of its hair is white. Its snout is black where it has little to no hair. So the original skin pigmentation is black. If you were to shave a zebra, you're going to have primarily an all black horse. And we've left the savanna and we are in the Gotti Glen. You're going to see two yellow-billed stork over on the right-hand side. Now, yellow bills are a pretty bird in my opinion, bright yellow bill. Coral markings are on their face and their feet. They're about 2 feet tall, the wingspan about 6 feet long. But you don't want to get too close to that pretty bird because it is carnivorous. It eats anything it can find, insects, fish, reptiles, amphibians, mammals, even other birds. And the scimitar horned oryx is actually a desert antelope, and it gets its name from the backward swooping motions of its horn, thought to resemble the scimitar sword when it was first discovered. Now that is a desert antelope, and he can actually go his entire life without even drink 1 drop of water. It's because he gets all the water that he needs to survive from the desert's vegetation. Now, unfortunately, it does look as if your safari is coming to an end, so I hope you enjoyed your safari just as much as I did. If you didn't see an animal or enough of one, just come on back to another safari. No two are ever the same. If you'd like to see some other animals that we have here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, I suggest Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail at the exit of the safari where I drop you off at. They have southern lowland gorillas, meerkats, and naked mole rats. And if you are heading over to Asia, I suggest the Maharaji Jungle Trek to see Sumatran tigers, cubs, and Komodo dragons. Just keep in mind those animal trails do close at 6:45 this afternoon. And you still have plenty of time to wander inside a Disney merchandise location, in which I hope you'll go and donate to Disney's Wildlife Conservation Fund. In '98, I was 5. I came to this park when it first opened. I was so moved by this attraction and the animals inside, I went to donate myself. I still wear the badge or the button I received when I donated on the right side of my chest every single day, because 20 years later, here I am trying to pursue you folks to do the exact same thing. And I'm going to leave you with this, guys. I'm going to leave you with Kwa Harini. Now, Kwa Harini means to go well. It's a better parting phrase than goodbye. Goodbye is just far too sad and far too final.
Alright, well that was a great safari, and we hope you enjoyed it. A lot of great facts by the guide. She was really good, and a lot of great animal spotting. So hopefully it turned out. I was just carrying the device in my hand, so I couldn't see on the phone how well the things were exposed, how well the lighting was. So I do apologize if there were lighting issues, but hopefully you got to see several animals and enjoyed the video as we walk out here towards Africa. So if you like these 360 videos, make sure you leave a comment and let me know. Make sure you're subscribed. If you haven't already done so, hit the bell, hit the like, all that good stuff. Also, check out our sponsors, MickeyBlog.com and MickeyTravels.com, as well as WindowRepairParts.us. Alright everybody, well here we are back where we started. So again, hope you enjoyed the video. And so for now, have a great big beautiful tomorrow. Bye bye.